Okay, so here we go. This is my first ever devlog, and I'm gonna kind of just freestyle it because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna figure things out. Hopefully, the future ones I get things more nice and neat and tidy. But yeah, here we go. So everything I'm showing is stuff I already did. My full-time job sort of took over for a little while, so the stuff here is about 3 months old. It's the initial progress I made towards the game. Right now, you're probably looking at the first character that I'm working on, and I guess since I'm here, let's show kind of the idea. I really want it to be sort of a low poly. I want this to work on standalone. I don't want anybody to have a powerful device to play this VR game. So I'm hoping making things as low poly as possible will help that. Also keeping file sizes down, download times down, all that stuff sounds fantastic to me. Plus, VR is not in its most polished state yet. Just like when I think about like Mario 64 and other low poly games of their time, when video games weren't in their most polished state yet, I feel like it's appropriate to have a sort of lower quality is not the right word, but something that is appropriate to the hardware, instead of trying to overload the screen with all sorts of things, and instead of trying to make things hyper realistic when it's not really time for that yet. I think it's nice to keep things simple, and retro is not quite the right word because it's going to be on a modern or contemporary platform. But yeah, so I'm going with like a low poly thing for a few different reasons. Plus, I like the aesthetic. Now, what you see here is definitely not going to be the finished product. Like, I'm not a big fan of this face that I made here too much. But that's okay because I'm taking my time when developing character models because I'm really going for reusability here. Like, for example, in this character model, I can just turn off the coat and all the animations and everything should play just fine. I can even take the shoes off if I want to and put them back on. Now, I cannot make new clothing, so whatever the final model is has to have all of the clothing options available, and the animations need to be prepped and ready for clipping. But after that, any outerwear can be removed. And then on top of that, it's designed so that, for example, the materials for all sorts of parts of the body can be changed. So I could, let's see, how do I want to do this real quick? Let's just go to, I got some materials here. I could very easily just put dark gray for the elbows, dark gray for the shoulders, dark gray for the forearms, and dark gray for the, where's the biceps? There we go, biceps. And I could just keep doing this to the rest of the clothing to get a unique color. And I can even skin match, so that way I could take the sleeves off and they could be wearing a bathing suit. I can make the belt disappear and they can have a high-waisted pant. I can skin match the knees and the shins so they can be wearing shorts. Really pretty much anything. Now, it does mean that making the characters a little bit of a pain because I've got to, in Blender, set up all of the faces so that they have their own material, and it does mean there's a lot of materials, but I think that overall will be less weight, so to speak, than having completely different items, because ultimately this gives me reusability. I can the plan here is this, that basically the female body that you're seeing here on this character, which will be not a main character, but sort of an addition to the main character. There's not much going on here, but you can see we're sort of in a laboratory, and this is a placeholder here for the main character, which will be Maxi, which is it has something to do with oh man, I forget his name, Maxwell and Maxwell's demons, and this game's gonna be about that. But anyways, where was I here? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so this female body is going to be reused for NPCs as well. What will be different will be things like the outerwear and facial expressions and animations and stuff like that. So general NPCs will probably share a lot of the same animations. They'll probably share a lot of other features as well. Like hair will be a big thing. If it's a character that needs to be interesting, it's probably going to have some kind of interesting hair. But yeah, that reusability I think is going to streamline development. I think it's going to bring down the weight of the game and just be overall pretty good. Now I'm going to undo everything I did here real quick. All right. And let's turn the code back on. Uh-oh. Oh, because I turned the mesh render off. All right. But yeah, besides that, it's all just prototyping. Let's fly outside for a second and we'll come back in. There's nothing here. Right now, the beginning of the game, I think, is going to be like this. There's still some things. I am developing the story and everything kind of on the fly, which I know is a terrible idea. But my creative process usually entails being open to sort of changing things until an implementation is set. Once I set it, then that's sort of a rule. But I don't want to hard set anything yet. Anyways, the beginning of the game I think is going to be like this. I don't want to copy Pokemon, so the introductory story character Maxie, who will be around throughout the whole game. Again, this is just a placeholder. Basically, they exist in the world, which I think I'm going to call the back end. I don't know, I might change that. And they are trying to interact with our world, trying to bring somebody in to help them fix their problems, which is that the daemons in background have gone out of control, and we need to sort of cleanse or purify or correct them or debug them, whatever. And in that process, we're going to catch them and use them to debug other daemons. And so we will spawn here in this, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. I think I gave it a name, but I forgot. It's been a few months already. Let's see. Maxwell's Lab, path, waypoints, structure. Oh, I called it the Quantum Receiver. So she's going to sort of summon us in the Quantum Receiver, and that's where our character will start. We'll be inside this glass. And Maxie and the two lab assistants, it's going to be this character here, Air, and then there's going to be like an older guy, I think, like it's going to be her Air's father, who owns the lab or something like that. They're going to be having a conversation as we spawn in, and then they're going to be like, oh my god, it's finally working, we've got somebody. And then Maxie's going to come up to us, which actually, let's just press play so we can see her walking. She's going to be... they're going to be doing some work. They're on the computer, as we see here when it's done loading. Blah, 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 typing. They're going to, oh my god, it worked. And they're going to come over here, and then she's basically going to have a conversation with us. In that conversation, she's going to explain what's going on, why they got you here, stuff like that. And I don't want it to be like Pokemon where she gives us 3 starter options. I don't want that at all. I always wished that in Pokemon they gave you a Pokeball and you just went out and just caught whatever the first Pokemon was. Like obviously if you went to the harder places you wouldn't be able to catch anything. So you would be limited to the fauna, so to speak, in the beginning levels. And I think I kind of want to do that here. So what she's going to do is explain what they want you to do. And the game is going to be, I think, sort of mission-based. And this lab here will sort of be the mission base where they tell you where things are going wrong. And then you go out to those parts of the world and fix them. So she's going to say, hey, lucky us, we have a mission for you right now. And it should be a pretty easy one. And then she's gonna send us down. I'm gonna put like a little village nearby. So there will be a bit of walking and exploring, and this will be like a transitionary period into where the village will be. And inside that village will be maybe a house or a barn or whatever. It doesn't matter. And in there, there's going to be a daemon wreaking havoc. Part of me thinks maybe it'll be like Mega Man Battle Network, where you jack in and then you go into an even deeper layer of the back end, and that's where things are going wrong, and that's where you battle and capture the daemons. But then if I do that, I can't really have the daemons in the overworld, and I kind of want them to be walking around and we can see them and interact with them, maybe pet them or whatever. So there's some ideas to be worked out there. But that's the gist of it. And when you go into that first place, you will see some options of daemons maybe, or maybe there will be like 3 houses, and depending on which house you go to will be a different daemon, and then that's the one that you have the option to capture. Something like that. Yeah, and I hope all this is making sense. I am just freestyling this whole process here. So if anybody is even watching this, in the comments, let me know, are you okay with me talking like this? Is it too much? I don't know. Give me some tips. I'm new to this whole thing. Trying my best here. I didn't even want to do this, but I think if I'm going to have any chance of success, I need to have some media outlets. And since I'm going to be having a break from my main job for a few months, I really want to put the work in. All right, anyways, let's go back into the lab. Now, again, I really want to go for minimal, simple, retro, classic. Like, I don't want this to really look like a new game, but I want it to feel like it has been cared for and thought out. So, like, clutter is something I'm not going to have. It's going to be pretty simple. Like this house here was inspired from like the Pokemon style houses. Now, obviously, I'm going to make different types of buildings, and this might change. Again, I'm inspired by Pokemon, but I don't want to rip off Pokemon. I don't want to copy them at all. In fact, the battling system might not even be turn-based. I might do some kind of auto battling system, which has piqued my interest, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyhow, back inside. You'll notice that it's kind of small inside, and I guess it's also relative to the outside. It's not going to be, if I can help it, there will be no loading in between buildings. You're going to go in, and you're going to go out. There probably will be loading between, like, environments. Like, this whole environment will probably be, like, one load screen or something, or maybe I make it bigger. I don't really know. I'm not there yet. And then there'll be other environments that you probably load into. But in each environment, at the very least, I don't want there to be any unnecessary loading. All right, inside the lab, it's pretty small, and that's on purpose. I want the player to feel a sense of scale, and I don't want to have items everywhere, but I also don't want the room to feel big for no reason. So it's my philosophy is very use it if you need it, right? Make things just as necessary as possible. No clutter, no overworking. I really want to try to walk the line of necessity and not quality, not quantity. I don't really know the right word, but I hope you get what I'm going for here. Anyhow, originally I started with I wanted to do kind of retro tech as well, but I think I'm going to switch that out to maybe some kind of floating screen or something. I don't know. I don't know if the retro tech makes sense considering they're summoning me through quantum processes from another dimension. I don't know if this old all-in-one is going to do that. Anyhow, I plan on decorating this, obviously. There's going to be chairs. People are going to be animated. There's going to be dialogue options. Like, the main character is going to force a conversation onto you, but you are also going to be able to walk up to Air, for example, and she might say something, or she might say nothing, or maybe there's thought bubbles. Maybe she just does an animation, but there will be some kind of interactability. It'll be limited, but it will be there. And that's something that'll probably be reserved to just characters that you are allowed to interact with at all. There will definitely be characters that you can't do anything with, or maybe not. Maybe I'll just keep the amount of characters super limited to match the rest of my philosophy. So if there's a character, you should be able to talk to it. Now, what they say is going to vary, but yeah. Another thing that still matches that philosophy is dialogue is super important to me, how this is done. I do like reading, but in a game, I might like the game a lot, but I might not like the story a lot, or I might not like the writing a lot. And so I don't want to read all the stuff they put. Like I recently tried to play Rogue Trader, which was my first experience with Warhammer, and the game seemed cool, but it was just inundated with text. And even though it was voice acted, it was still very like cumbersome. The vocabulary was very verbose, and the text was verbose, and it was just like, I just want to play the game. Now, dialogue is super important. My philosophy is this: the characters at most will say like 3 sentences at a time. Like ideally, each dialogue box is just a sentence that gets straight to the point. For example, in something like Elder Scrolls Online, what I do is I usually just listen to like the first 1 or 2 sentences that the NPCs say, because that generally gives me all the detail I need. And then I just skip it after that. So that's what I want to do. I want to just only have the character say what they need to say, and no more. Maybe if for some reason people want me to add more like text or whatever, I can add like books and lore and stuff like that. But I think I'm going to pretty hard stick to limited amount of dialogue, except maybe in something like cutscenes, if I even do cutscenes. I don't know about that. Anyhow, so since I'm back on this model here, the way this works is that animations for the people, I think I'm just going to use Mixamo or whatever open source human animation library I need to use, because I am not an animator. I'm not even a 3D modeler. This took me like 2 months to learn and make and figure out all the things in Blender to do some box modeling. But anyhow, the human characters are going to be using open source animations, but the monsters, I am going to learn how to do custom animations for them, because I'm just not going to find a library that exists for that, because I want the monsters to be pretty unique. I might try with the monsters doing, what do you call it? I can't think of it, where they sort of animate on their own. Why can't I think of the name? Kinematic animation? No. Inverse kinematics animation? Oh, I just can't remember the name. Programmatic animation? Oh, procedural animation. That's what it is. I might procedurally animate the monsters. But that's something I have to learn how to do, which I don't mind. It sounds fun. So that might be a thing as well. But anyways, I don't even have any monsters now. If you want to see some ideas I had, go find my other video in here. I only have one at the moment. You can see some of the things I did in Google Blocks, which I'll be using Blender this time around, not Google Blocks. Anyhow, besides animations, faces are going to work like this. Each character is going to have, they have an eye texture and a mouth texture, and I could swap out the, or not texture, but material. I could swap out the material for whatever I want. So I can have sprite sheets for the eyes and the mouth, or sprite sheets for each character, and I can duplicate it for the eyes and the mouth. And what this does is it allows me to come down here to the offset, and I just can programmatically set a number to change the face. Now this this image that I have only has one face and then a grid on it, but the eyes I can go left and right. I can go up and down. So I can have a whole grid of eye expressions and a whole grid of why am I getting confused here? Surface inputs. Oh, I think I'm doing it in the wrong spot, because when I do that, it's just moving the top material. I think I'm going to have to do it from here. Yeah, I think I have to change the material directly. There we go. Now we can see the grid properly. It's been a while since, again, it's been like 3 months since I've touched this project because of my my other job just took over. Anyhow, so I can adjust the mouth and the eyes separately, which should allow me to have a pretty decent variety of facial expressions. Now they won't be animated. It'll just be like face swapping, so it'll be static images. I could animate them if I make the sprite sheets in depth enough, but to be honest, stylistically speaking, I think it'll be more fun for them to be limited. I do find that limitations often breed not uniqueness, not creativity. What's the word? I know I'm deviating from the saying entirely, but I think limitations are what is going to make this game, I guess, unique. Yeah. So I think I'm not going to do face animations, just face swapping. But I can have angry eyes with a happy face if I wanted to, or I can match it angry with angry, so to speak. I could even put masks on people. In fact, I think the main character might have a mask, and you can collect masks throughout the game. And yeah. I guess one last thing before I swap to the video of me just playing inside VR so you can see what it's like. Because you can see these hitboxes here. These doors do open. We can go outside. You can see these little orange circles here. Now, in the actual game, you won't see these orange circles. This is just a pathing system. It might get reworked. I think I made it a little too soon. But yeah, I'll press play again. We have to wait for Maxie to do her little typing animation. But yeah, so you won't see her sitting down. That'll be loaded in. But I can change the duration of typing, no problem. And she's going to walk from point to point, and then she's going to stop, look at me, and talk. But if I want to, I can just go to my waypoints here, name them whatever I want, and I can move this waypoint. Let's put it over here. Well, if I do this, she's probably going to walk into the table. There is no AI here. I'm not using any kind of advanced pathing system, which I might switch to. I might just switch to Unity's AI, but honestly, I kind of don't want to. I like to just make everything myself. I learn a lot that way, and it makes debugging a little easier because I know what everything is. I guess it would technically make debugging harder if anybody else were to join the project. But I try my best to make things as straightforward, easy to read as possible. I guess I could show some code and just get criticized because I'm not the best, but I got some ideas. Anyhow, let me press play. Let's move this. Let's put this here. And so now she's still gonna do the typing thing, but she's gonna walk over and then go to that point, and then she's gonna look at me and talk. Nothing crazy, nothing special. But what this allows me to do is script the script the walking patterns of anyone who needs it. Pretty easy. All I have to do is just pop on, which one is it? All I have to do is pop on a path manager, give them a path, which is here. I have my path, share to receiver path, which has my waypoints. So I put this on, I give them a path to go to, and that's it. And then in code, I can always switch what path they need to be on at any time. Again, this is all super duper early, so anything might change. I'll likely expand on the path manager etc. Same here. I have like a NPC script, which is just going to give me access to the basic things that every NPC will probably need to have. State controller is something I think I do want to redo, but because I just didn't do it, I really did it in my own way, and I kept it very simple. Like there was no enumerators. What's the other thing I didn't do? There's no structs. Like it's pretty much just using booleans and then methods that compare booleans to figure things out, which just seems more straightforward to me and easier to read. But I also want to do things the right way and become a better programmer that way. So I might redo the state controller. I don't know. And you know what? I think I just decided I'm not going to show any code right now. If anybody sees this video and somehow made it this deep into the video, let me know if you want me to show code. And then I will. I have no issue showing it. Just I imagine most people, I don't know, aren't going to want to look at a bunch of text. Like it's already hard enough looking at this whole window here. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to go on my VR headset. Oh, but I have to build it to the headset. Anyways, I'm going to go to the headset now. I'm going to build, then I'm going to go to the headset, and I'm going to just record some footage so you can see what it looks like in game. And yeah, see you there. Okay, here we are. This is pretty much how the game starts. I am not in the right spot, which I got to fix, but that's okay. You'll start here, you'll be locked in, and she's going to come over here. She's going to talk to us, tell us the whole situation. And then when she's done talking to you, my plan would be like this is going to animate and raise up the glass. We'll walk out. And then she's going to say something along the lines of like right now I have controllers. This won't be there. I'll have like wispy ghost hands or something. I don't know. She's going to say, the people of this world are going to freak out when they see you. So we need to give you a body. And then ideally, hopefully, we could do a whole full body setup. I know that's going to take a bit of work, but I think it'll be worth it. And you'll be able to pick, like customize your character type of deal. It'll be pretty limited, but yeah, like I don't think there'll be any sliders. But since all of the models in the game are going to have like a default, like there's going to be a few default body types for both feminine and masculine. And you'll be able to pick between those. Like this would kind of be standard feminine body type, and then there'll probably be a smaller one and a larger one, and then a child size or something like that. And it'll be the same for masculine, except for maybe, I don't know, maybe a few characters will have more unique body types, and then the player could also pick from those as well, I suppose. We'll see how it goes. I think, though, for the players, we're going to have masks instead of faces. But yeah. There isn't really much to show here. I got to make it so these little spheres go away. Wallpaper decoration, everything is all temporary. Lighting is just there so I can see what shadows look like. This is all just blocking things out. But yeah, other than the one character following a path and animating, I have these doors that open up. Just walk right through. No problemo. And when you leave, they close, and then walk back through. They're going to stay open so long as you're within a certain range, and then you leave, and they animate shut. I am not going to do any knobs, any push doors. If I do, it'll probably be like a big castle gate type of deal where you have to like physically push it. And even then, I really don't think I want to do that. Every single VR door I've interacted with has been lackluster. And since this is all kind of like a techie sort of, not futuristic, but I don't know, whatever, I think sliding doors for everything is fine. We're in a virtual world, and the game acknowledges that this is a virtual world. So I like it. It makes things easy to use. I think it looks cool too. Yeah, and if I do have swing doors, they'll function the same way. You'll just walk up and the door will open. If it's locked, I don't know, maybe I can have a system with a key, or maybe you hack into the door. The game is definitely going to have some like hacking. I don't know if that recorded, but there was just a glitch where the screen like got stuck. It could be a meta recording issue or it could be a game issue. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll look into that. Whatever. Anyways, there's going to be like hacking and stuff in the game. One of the ideas for when you catch a monster is you'll have to hack into it or something like that, or maybe it'll be some kind of mini game. Now, it won't be anything hard. It'll be something relatively easy, easy, novel, and fun is the idea. So when you go to catch a monster, I think you're gonna have like on your arm, like a cable that you shoot out to it, and you're basically going to hack into it and play a little mini game or like do a little puzzle. And if you solve it, then you can download the daemon, and then you're going to have like a wrist inventory, which is going to have collectible cards that store the daemons, and then you're going to throw them out, and when you throw them out, they spawn. I know just my hands moving isn't enough to envision that, but the other video that I have, the proof of concept, sort of shows what it might look like. Now, I've gained a lot more skill since I made that video, so it's going to be a million times better, but it kind of gives you a glimpse to what I want to do. And yeah, that's it. Let's go out the back door just for fun and go look at the sun. It's bright. Yeah. Thanks for watching.